What is going on, guys? You can do here back with another video. So today I'm going to be talking about the Oceanic WCQ event, the winner Oliver Parle and his deck profile, which for once is Chaos Dragons. Thank God, Chaos Dragons haven't won a big event in ages, and I'm really happy for him. In any case, the deck list is pretty standard. You've got the standard Chaos Engine, BLS, 2 Card Trooper, 2 Chaos Sorcerer, Dark Armed, 2 Dark Flare, 2 Eclipse Wyvern, triple Vader, which I think is pretty standard at this stage. 1 Gores because he's Gores, as I always say. Jane is an interesting tech. I particularly like the card, but other people don't seem to favour Jane. 3 Light Pulsars, 3 Lila, 3 Max C. I'm going to be commenting on this in a minute. 2 Red Ice Darkness Metals, 2 Raikou, the Tour Guide Engine plus Sangan, Allure of Darkness, Charge, Dark Hull, Future Fusion, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn. The 1 MST teched. I'm seeing that a lot lately in Chaos Dragon builds. I think Pro Winston might have done it, or maybe it was with 1 Soul Taker. But either case, people are trying to mix it up a little bit. And try to get away from these standard builds that were used at the original YCS Toulouse and the like. And finally, 2 Soul Recharge. Finally, for the side and the extra deck, I'm going to say it's pretty standard because it seems to be what I always say. But anyway, the first card is Catapult Turtle. His justification for using this card was that it was very good against Final Countdown. I kind of agree with that because, in theory, you can OTK someone with all your big Chaos monsters by tributing them with Catapult Turtle's effect. It was an interesting tech. It's a very old card, but kudos to him for using it. 2 Electric Virus is just standard against Dino Rabbit and Chaos Dragons. 2 Kaiku is standard against Insectors and again against Chaos Dragons. Any deck which relies heavily on the graveyard. There could be some rogue decks in there as well. Victoria is good against Chaos Dragons, of course, in the mirror match. You just bring back all their dragons, it'd be very, very annoying. Also Disaster Dragon, which you don't really expect to see, and Dragundis. 2 Forbidden Chalice. It's just a good generic side these days anyway. I used it myself in the locals yesterday against a wind-up deck. And it was particularly useful because all their effects are face-up effects. And after wind-ups winning North and South America and the European Championships, people would have been expecting wind-ups to show up. So that's why they were siding in the Chalices, I presume. 2 MSTs because he's got 1 in the main board and he wants to side them in case someone sides in Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure against him, which I presume is the reason. Also, just for decks that he knows are heavy with the back row and he wants to just thin them out basically. 1 Soul Taker, very, very standard side against the mirror match. Light Pulsar Dragon, make a miss timing, blah, blah, blah. Also, it's just good because you can choose the monster, and there's no other card for destroying face-up apart from Offerings to the Doomed, which is crap. That allows you to do that. And the 1,000 life points isn't going to mean anything. 2 Royal Decree, again, if they side in Macrocosmos, also just for decks that are heavy with back row. And finally, 2 Safe Zone. The mistake he made about Safe Zone, however, is that if your opponent drops Electric Virus and you chain Safe Zone, Safe Zone does not protect the monster that Electric Virus targeted, even though he thought that it did. It is actually incorrect. It's nothing to do with chain links at all. The extra deck is extremely standard. He's got 5-Headed Dragon, Black Rose Dragon, Blood Mephist, because he's going with this whole burn theme, and he basically wants to do as much damage to his opponent as possible. Maybe Final Countdown was much better represented at his locals, and so he expected it to be there at the Oceanic event. I don't know, but in any case, 1 Scrap Dragon because in my opinion he's the best synchro in the game, full stop. 1 Adrius because he's awesome. 1 Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger, 1 Atomb, they're basically used together. 1 Insector Exobeetle, 1 Leviair, 1 Musa Rhythm, 1 Leviathan Dragon, 1 Photon Strike Bouncer, 1 Queen Dragon Jin. It's Jin, not Djinn, by the way. 1 Tempo and 1 Wind-Up Zen mains. Of course, the oddest thing about the deck list is the fact that he main decks 3 Max Cs. There seems to be a continuing trend going on at the moment where Tyler Tabin main decks 1, the Central American champion main decks 2, and this guy main decks 3. It's just a little bit strange to me. If Heradic Dragons, Wind-Ups, and Dino Rabbit are the only 3 decks you can plus off Max C with, then why are people panicking so much? Fair enough, Wind-Ups top North and South America and the European Championships. However, you're not going to face wind-ups in every match, and more than likely you're going to be drawing into Max C dead a lot of the time. And fair enough, it is possible to get small pluses off the other 2-run decks such as Insectors and Chaos Dragons, but these pluses aren't significant enough to justify main decking 3 of the card against these decks. And again, you might side the Max Cs out after game 1 once you realise the mistake, but you could say draw onto 2 of them in your opening hand and be just saying to yourself, my god, why did I main deck these guys? What sets Insectors and Chaos Dragons apart against the likes of Max C is that if your opponent drops Max C when these guys are trying to swarm the field, they can just stop, with no repercussions for them. They might be able to overlay their level 3s, Chaos Dragons can just sit there with a Red Ice Darkness Metal and a Light Pulsar. But if you Max C on a wind-up Carriers and Mighty, or a wind-up Rat, or a wind-up Shark, your opponent basically has to stop dead. And that's what makes it so effective against these decks. And in my opinion, what makes it so ineffective against the other tier 1 decks, which make up the other 50% of the decks you're going to be facing in these big events. Especially if it's a 12-round affair. Now, funnily enough, you can technically plus off each of these decks if you sign in Max C, but that's not even the issue here. Plussing off Inzectors doesn't directly address the issues they present players with, nor does plussing off Chaos Dragons. Whenever I go for my side deck, I'm always thinking about what card can directly address any problems I'm currently having. The difference against windups, of course, is that it directly addresses the loop. They can't loop you, basically, you keep drawing a card every time they take one from you. For Heretic Dragons, it enables you to draw into Gores or Dark Hole to prevent them from OTKing. That again directly addresses the issues that Heretic Dragons give you. Now maybe he just made a good meta call, and he knew that decks such as Windups, Six Samurais, Heretic Dragons, and Dino Rabbit were going to be well represented. And if so, kudos to him, but I still think main decking 3 Max Cs is a bad idea, even in that situation. It's very easy to side in the 3rd Max C after game 1, there's no problem with that. The problem is basically with the dead draws, as I've said before. But anyway guys, that is it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. I think the Catapult Turtle and the Max Cs are pretty much the only unique things that he had in there, because Chaos Dragons are themselves pretty standard. But let me know what you think about the 3 Max Cs. Are people panicking a little bit too much about windups, or did he just make a good meta call? What do you guys think about this? Anyway guys, keep an eye out for my other videos. I've got another Rules of the Game series coming up soon. A couple more deck profiles. I'm hoping to get some of the duels that I have backlogged on my camera uploaded at some point, so keep an eye out for those as well. And keep supporting my channel. Any support is very much appreciated. Comment, rate, and subscribe. As always, I am Wheel the Yu-Gi-Tuber, and I am signing out. Peace, guys.